This is why I wanted you on our first show.
What do I need to be doing?
What do I need to be doing?
Oh,
I know is I'm supposed to see him look pretty.
You guys are live.
Oh, hey! We're live. Welcome to the green room. This is your boy Focus and the lovely
BellaBellz. Thanks for tuning in. Thursday, 7 p.m. The green room.
every week. How was your week?
Man, I had a great week. The sun has been shining, so
I know, it's been lovely.
there was like this thing where they said it was like 70 something days of clouds, and we finally got a breakthrough, and it looks like it's
Seattle depression.
Oh, no hate. I look at it as like, you know, on Bart Simpson, how Lisa was with the saxophone and how the background was all the time.
Yeah,
That's me.
you were out playing the saxophone today.
I enjoyed it, yeah. What about you? How was your week?
Busy, trying to plan for this show.
Okay.
Trying to get all the gear in order. And thanks to Big T over there behind the camera, we got it all functioning. Got the cameras up and running, got the audio working. So shout out to Tristan.
Can't do this without you, TT. TT's in the house. He's in the building.
So, our first guest. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I was just telling you a little bit ago how excited I am and how I feel honored too to have this opportunity
Yes.
to be able to interview him.
So, our first guest is Michael Bergstrom. His official title is producer.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
Mainly
Oh,
whatever.
we got some titles. I'll pull it up. Go ahead.
He's got a history in gaffing and pre-production, a lot of pre-production type work. Tristan, why don't we go ahead and show that first clip of some of the work that he's been part of.
I think it's my Krypton Electric one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of where it started out.
Yep. We're back on camera?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start off with how did you get started doing like gaff work and pre-production stuff?
Well, it's a pretty classic story of being in high school, and my buddy runs up to me and he says, "Hey, you wanna come over to the house and make a movie?" I'm like, sure. I think I was freshman or sophomore, and it just kind of took off from there. Every summer and through the winters, like we just constantly made these short films, and they were bad. I mean, really bad. But we had a lot of fun, and by the time I was a junior and senior, I started getting some wedding work, and started being paid by the school district to actually edit videos down. It made me realize that you could actually make money in some capacity.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at, what I was going to do for school, what I wanted to do with my life, and film to me was the only logical thing. And so I did go to a 1-year tech school. I got an associate's of science degree in film, and really focused on grip and lighting and the labs there, because I figured most films need grip and lighting.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the director. Everyone wants to be the DP. Everyone wants to, be head honcho, but they're not willing to work.
Yeah.
So I figured to work, I needed to have that nice stable job in film.
Job security in film is tricky.
But I learned, and I loved it. Moved back back to Alaska after my year and got a job at a studio. I worked there for many years doing grip and gaffing work. And my big focus was camera support and movement. So rigging to vehicles, rigging to snow machines, well, snowmobiles here. We call them snow machines in Alaska. So snowmobiles and cars, planes, trains, everything that needed a camera mounted to it.
Yeah.
That was my big focus. Was camera movement.
And
Wow.
as you mentioned Alaska, so, and I've seen a lot of projects that you've done are kind of Alaska based as well, and then your show as well. So which one, is that where your hometown is, or is that what's going on with Alaska?
I spent 20 years in Alaska.
Okay.
So, and worked there a good solid 15, 16 years and loved it. I mean, Alaska's huge. It's a fifth the size of the United States.
Yeah.
So when people are like, hey, are you working outside, anywhere else besides Alaska? And I'm like, I'm working all over Alaska, but when you look at the size of it.
Right.
I had a army buddy that was from Alaska, born and raised in Alaska, but we were stationed in Virginia together. And every time somebody would mention Texas, he'd go, "Oh, the second largest state."
I mean, if you cut Alaska in half, Texas would be the third largest state.
Yeah.
It's that much more massive, but you don't get a real good sense of the scale of it until you're actually there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so you've done some major films as well, been a part of the production of.
Yeah. Well, Alaska had a tax incentive for a while, and
Okay.
it got signed into law, and I was working there before the tax incentive, and we were very excited. Of course, everyone gets excited about tax incentives.
Mhm.
It was really solid, really aggressive, and it started to attract actual films. And we worked, and our workforce really blew up as well. We went from, I'm just gonna pull out some random numbers, but there's probably 30 of us working full-time in Alaska before
Wow.
the tax incentive. And during the height of the tax incentive, there was hundreds of trained professionals that were getting trained, that were working full-time. We were buying houses. I mean, it was
That's
gangbusters.
amazing.
And
Dreams come true. Yeah.
so it's like, and working on a lot of the big films and learning a lot of the, ins and outs of large film productions. It was pretty exciting, and then they gutted the above the line incentives. And
Yeah. It never lasts forever.
no, it was beautiful while it lasted,
Okay.
but once that was gone, it flatlined, went to reality TV.
Oh.
Okay.
So,
So what brought you down to Seattle?
I'm sick of the snow.
I can totally relate.
Well,
Someone needs to stay in the mountains.
a lot of the work I was doing, I was focused on Alaska, but over the last couple of years, I was working more and more in the lower 48 here.
Okay.
And it started becoming a thing where just the travel was too much.
Yeah.
Especially when you're pretending to work as a local somewhere or another city because you have a bed to crash on or a couch to crash on.
Yeah.
But you're still biting into your time, going back and forth. And I started losing on contracts as well with people saying, hey, we would hire you if you didn't live in Alaska. Well, what about Seattle? Yes, that would work.
Okay. Okay.
So where you live your demographics has maybe a determination of if you can get the job or.
Yeah,
It
because
can. Definitely.
And the reason behind that is, besides it just, is it a preference or is it
No,
like
it's-
some kind of red tape or?
it's more of you have a lot of people in big cities, so
Okay.
why hire someone outside
The city.
the city when you have somebody just as qualified within the city?
Gotcha.
Unless you're friends with that person that's making the
somebody.
piece,
Right.
then they'll fly you in. But if you, otherwise, you have to be at a whole other, level to be brought in randomly.
Yeah.
And you are definitely on a whole other level.
Now, speaking of flying out, you're supposed to be heading out tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm finally doing a vacation.
Oh, it's an
Oh.
actual
I'm
vacation.
actually doing
Oh,
a vacation.
okay.
Believe it or not,
Sweet.
48 hours in Minnesota. I'm so excited. I know. I decided to go somewhere warm, Minnesota. It was just like, okay, I have the time and the miles. I need a break.
Yeah.
What's so special over there? You got family, friends, or
my
is that
my brother's out there, so.
film
Nice.
stuff, or
Nice.
no? You're just gonna take it easy.
No, well, there'll be beer drinking. Lots of beer drinking.
Well, that's gonna be difficult.
If you had seen
That's
the
not
way he hustles on set, he deserves.
I mean, oh no! See, look, I have seen the way you've hustled. That's what I wanted to. I literally wanted to pull it up just because I read a summary that that you have on your.
Are you stalking me?
A little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I mean, since you're a producer and all. I used to be with the DJ. Now moving on up. You know? And so it is so small, and then so like I was just like, oh, okay, interesting, right? And then I scrolled down, and I'm looking at so much body of work. You've been working for a very, very long time. You're definitely not new in the game, and you had like good. There's a lot of material out there, not to criticize or judge or anything. I'm not there to do any of that, but you have some great body of work with some, like high and Hollywood type stuff too. So people would say you kind of broke through. You're making it through. You're not a starving. You're not looking for work. Work is looking for you. You're trying to go on vacation. And so one thing that kind of also kind of like I was drawn to a little bit. I wanted to ask you about it. There was a project that you did. Let's see what it was. It was a film about swimming and how to teach people on how to swim. You wanted to kind of be an advocate for that.
Yeah.
You said you wrote it, you produced it,
Yeah.
you shot it, you
Yeah,
basically
did everything.
Yeah.
That one kind of fizzled a little bit. The grant money ran out. But it was a fun project. It was the whole idea. Alaska has an insanely high drowning rate.
Okay.
Insanely high drowning rate. So the idea was to educate people on ice safety, on how to do swift water rescues. Especially in Alaska, if you fall into a glacier river, it's a very short window of time that you can get out.
Yeah.
And same thing with falling through ice. If you fall through
It's
ice
pretty-
into the
yeah.
water, if you don't know how to drag yourself out, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So
Very
it was
quickly.
basically PSAs on water safety and
Right.
That's awesome.
encouraging people to learn how to swim and not just rely on a life jacket.
Yeah, that's what kind of touched my heart, that you were able to use your platform outside of just making money. You know what I mean? And kind of because you were out there, so you get to see it out there wherever you live. You get to see what your neighborhood needs or where it's lacking, your environment, and actually swimming is pretty serious out there because it's very aggressive
Yep.
compared to maybe waters out here or whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but I want to get to the good stuff.
Well, that's kind of near and dear to your heart.
It
too,
is,
because
it is,
You
but
do,
you know,
you do outreach
oh.
stuff too.
I do actually.
Just last Christmas with the Toys for Tots and
I
all
do a
that,
very
so.
huge event where we gave out 1,800 toys at my event, and then I also sponsored other churches and gave out toys there to a couple churches as well. So it was fun, and I love the kids, and I like doing stuff like that. Just giving back to the community if I can. If it's something I'm able to do, I like to do it. Yeah. So.
So how about what was it like working on? What did you actually do on the set of Transformers?
Oh, Transformers was actually my first major feature that I worked on, and just like any good person, I was a PA.
Okay.
I was
okay.
actually the
that had
driver.
to be mind blowing.
They needed a driver that was comfortable on the ice to drive the hero,
Okay.
to drive like the hero dogs and stuff like that,
Oh,
to get them from
perfect.
point A to point B and actually get them there over
Okay.
mountain passes. So
Okay.
they had hired locals because they're like, well, LA people don't know how to drive on ice.
No. Yeah, that was perfect for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. You're like, I've got years of training of that stuff. That's natural to me.
Yeah, that was a pretty big thing. They built the ship out on the ice.
Yeah.
And so that opening shot in the original Transformers, the ship in the ice trapped with the dog, that was partially shot in Alaska.
That's awesome.
So, and that was my first like taste of a big movie.
Yeah.
Which of course is just makes you hungry for more.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
like, yes,
Absolutely.
I can do this.
How many years of grinding on your own before you got that big break with that big movie, The Transformers?
Oh, that was a couple years.
A couple years.
Yeah, that was a couple years, and it wasn't really grinding because I kind of lucked out. Having
Okay.
coming out of school, I found a job at a studio. It was a big rental house, had a green screen, all that, and I was the equipment manager. But because they had a truck, I organized the truck and everything like that. In fact, how I got the job was I walked in and like, well, what can you provide? And I pointed at all the gear and I'm like, I can help you with all that. I didn't have anybody at the time,
Right.
so. it
Create a
kinda went
position
off
for
from there.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then from there, you started making film before you got over to Transformer, or?
Yeah, I mean,
You're all-
again, went back into doing a lot of the short films
Mhm.
and, outside of the commercial work and the doc work. And then worked on a lot of those big features. And then it was around 2012 that I got a call randomly when I was still working at the studio. And at that point, I'd been working there for about 6 years and I was starting to get, I won't say disgruntled, but felt a little trapped. I wanted to expand my horizons. And I was watching my friends go off and, do freelance. And my phone rang and it was somebody who had seen a lot of my films that I had produced.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, there's this TV series, we're shooting season 2.
Okay.
We need a story producer to come on, a field producer.
Oh, wow.
Would you be open to take on this job?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. when does it start? They're
Yeah.
like, in 3 days, you'd be fine. All right. Walked in, quit my job.
My other gig.
Yep, hopped on a plane and I was in Kodiak on the Coast Guard Alaska show. So,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the so there was a pilot also that you wrote that somebody else picked up in Alaska as well. It was a show.
Oh, I've done
So many of
I've
those?
done
Oh,
gobs
okay.
of development work.
Okay.
So much development work.
I was wondering if it was like
Does that
something
work?
I saw because there aren't that many shows on HBO or any networks from Alaska, but like a few. So I was like,
I always joke that have you seen anything you've done? I'm like, was it shot in Alaska? Then yes, I probably worked on it,
Right.
but not that one. Because everyone asks about Deadliest Catch. I'm like,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
just
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never worked Deadliest Catch. But
I always see, there's one of the channels that my mom watches all the time, a show that pops up about Alaska. I see it every single day. It's popping up.
Yeah.
Is Buying Alaska,
oh yeah,
where people are going up there and just buying property.
yeah. That's, I have a little pride.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, I did
Not that great of a
I
show.
did a lot of development work for History Channel, National Geographic, BBC, a lot of those
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, that's
It got
awesome.
to the point where I'd done several reality shows as a producer, and then it got to the point where I walked in, I wanted to get onto a Nat Geo show,
Mhm.
and sitting there and looking like, no, we have a different idea in mind for you. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, can you work on your own? I'm like, oh yeah. In fact, I love doing that. So they put me out as a development producer, casting producer for new shows. They, gave me a credit card. They gave me their bullet points, and they just sent me out into the Alaska, etc.
Well,
I
that's
checked
fun.
in like
Make
at the
it
end of
work.
every week with a whole list of everything that found and characters and stories, and then they would distill it into future shows or bring in people as cast members on the shows they already had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, actually.
It was a
Um,
blast.
Give me a credit card and just send me out to do it.
That's what I asked you
Go
to
find the
do.
crazy people.
Jeez. Now it's all of a sudden it's awesome, when I mentioned it. No, but really though, you've pretty much done, if making film is a circle, you've pretty much completed the entire circle of all the things that you could do with film,
I think it's important that a producer works in the various departments.
Okay.
So I have actually worked in every department except for hair and makeup. I've done pretty much all the other departments, and I think it's valuable because at that point, when you're sitting there, say you're language, you know when that door opens and that head walks through the door, you already know what they're going to be asking.
Yeah.
You know, there's no surprises. You work in that department. You know what they want. You know what they're going to, demand.
Yeah.
You know what they ran out of before they know.
Yep.
So because you wore so many hats in that circle, I'm interested to know, I'm sure you can't probably pick a favorite, but maybe the favorite hat that you like to wear out of all those different demographics, different positions that you're,
I
what's
love
your
producing.
favorite
I love
producing?
producing. I mean,
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, what about second best then?
Directing.
Directing?
I like, and I like
President and vice president,
doing, I
huh?
like doing director of photography too. I like
Okay.
working as a head, but at the same time,
Mhm.
if the call comes to go and gaff,
Of course.
I'm gonna be there because I love to create.
Your roots are there too.
Yeah,
So
and
Yeah.
It's good to dust it off. And
Mhm. Yeah.
See that you still got it.
yep.
I can do it better than you. No. And then so you have another big movie, The Proposal, with Sandra Bullock in it, and
that was
And
that
Ryan
was
Reynolds?
Yes.
That was a
Reynolds.
random. Yeah.
How did that happen?
My phone rang.
Yeah.
And I asked to do it because there's a lot that was shot. A lot of the scenics were shot in Alaska, especially the wides and everything like that. Well, this is the whole fake it till you make it.
Okay. So you're
Because I had been working as a key grip and a gaffer for a while, but there's gear that is in the lower 48 that we did not have in Alaska. But they would bring it up, and it's like, oh, I've never seen this before. So there's this piece of rigging material, pedestal, and it's called a Zuzuka.
okay.
And it's a single camera pedestal, so you can hard mount to like a deck of a boat.
Okay.
So we did that
Okay.
with a Steadicam on it. I had never seen or heard of this tool before, and so we arrived at the meeting, and they're like, "Oh, and for rigging everything, we have this bazooka. It's out in the van."
Like you have a what?
And my mind, and this is before this is 2G times, like
Oh, okay.
the original iPhone,
Yep.
2G, like slow, and I'm like, I hope I even have cell phone reception.
What do you do with this? Camera.
It's for rigging a camera to it. It's
Okay.
It's a
Oh, just like a
it's
mount.
a column. It's a
Okay.
metal
Yeah.
column.
Okay.
At this time, I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
All I heard was bazooka, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and just check and make sure all the components are there. In my mind, I'm like, I hope this thing has components. I didn't just throw myself under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. So I walk out there and I open it up, and sure enough, there are components.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that moment of, okay, I understand how this will work. I can see, because it's similar to everything else. They had no idea, they had never used it before. Went off without a hitch. Just say yes.
Okay, so we're talking about all the exciting stuff, right? All the things that are fun about it, great about it. I'm sure there are some shares of it not being so great. And I want to do it in a two-part question. I want to do it from like the producer, editor, behind the scene point of view, and then also get the gossip and the good juice about how they really be acting out there in Hollywood, So, so give me, the kind of the downfalls of, what people have to expect when they are trying to do that, because you've done a lot of your own projects. You've invested in yourself as well instead of just like working for other productions. And so, some of those disappointments that happen around that time, like what do people need to expect? I guess
What's the negatives?
Gives you a mind of work.
right? And
You do have to kind
I
of have
think
a
that-
thick skin.
I think,
is it okay?
yeah, I think
Okay.
you always have to have thick skin. And that's just part of it. But for me, I think the hardest thing is being on location for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Being away from your friends and your family, and living in a hotel room, or when you're traveling, you're in a hotel room, then you're in the next hotel room, then you're in the next hotel room, and then you forget what day it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like time ceases to exist. But
So there's not a perk, the travel and the, city to city and all,
it's fun at first, but
Okay.
after years of doing it,
Okay.
it's like, oh.
And you're so busy too.
Yeah.
There was I worked on a film in Montana. This was 2 years ago, and I couldn't get back over the holidays. Like the film went over the holidays. It was Christmas and New Year's, and we started right after Thanksgiving. But being away from family for New Year's and Christmas, and it wears on you. Being trapped in a hotel when half the crew is gone back to their family, but I can't fly to Alaska 'cause it's booked up.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
traveling there at that time. So I think that's the hardest bit of the job.
What about the direction, like managing basically, people around you when you're doing the when you're the producer, the editor?
Just surround yourself with good people.
Okay, that are already
That's
skilled
key.
and don't
Yeah,
need.
That's a
and
huge key.
Okay.
I think for the most part, most film people are very down to earth. They're very grounded. Filmmakers have their own unique language too. So if you're on a project for a long time, you come off the project and you forget how to talk to real people. You look at you like, why are you being so mean? It's like, I'm just being efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now you gotta adjust back to, hey, nice please and thank
Yeah.
yous
It's
or.
like, I don't think I've ever had a problem meeting up with people in airports and random crew people. I think everybody, for the most part, when they're working, especially full time, they have their heads screwed on straight.
I
You
think
got to
that
take your
was-
ego out of the equation.
Absolutely.
On all productions, you have to take your ego out.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest thing for me to overcome. Not the ego. I try and keep my ego in check anyways, but because you're on such a time crunch on a film set that everything has to be super efficient, and sometimes it can come across as
Rude.
people being curt or rude, and that's not the intent. But just we got a job to do.
Yeah, you're just like
You know?
go mode.
And it's
So-
the
Yeah.
hierarchy. I mean, and the hierarchy of a set helps with that too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when you have a proper hierarchy on set, that's why things run, and that's how you can take the ego out.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
oh, you're my boss. Yes, I might think I can do it better, but guess
Yeah.
what?
But for this project,
It's
they're
not
gonna
my
listen to
name
you.
on it. It's their
Yeah.
name on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily going for the actors though, right? That's why I want to get to the scoop, to the Hollywood
We'll
scoop.
get to that in just
Okay.
1 second. Real quick, for the people that are just tuning in, I want to reintroduce our guest for tonight. We're sitting here with Michael Bergstrom. He is a producer with a long history of pre-production work, gaffing, things like that. You even did some electrical, I believe, right?
I did a lot of gaffing. Yeah.
Okay. So if you just tuned in, now you know who we're talking to and why we're on these topics.
BellaBellz.
Yes, this is BellaBellz, but you should already know her.
And Focus. So,
Back to your question.
yes, back to Hollywood because that's the juice. I want to get to the juice. You gave us a little bit of, little apple juice.
Yeah.
Let's put a little vodka
What-
in it.
On the proposal, just real quick to go back to that.
Okay.
Did you get to actually be on set with Ryan?
No, there's actually body doubles. There's stunt
Oh
doubles.
my
Oh.
Because everything was wide shots.
god. Oh, gotcha.
That one. Yep.
I was hoping you had some funny
Yeah.
stories about Ryan.
I
'Cause-
was really hoping that they were going to be there, and no, it ended up being their little clones.
Yeah, but word on the
I
street
had-
is that you have some good stories about 50 Cent.
I did see him get shot.
Hopefully not the one he talks about in the albums, just in the movies.
I think you saw the movie recently.
Yes,
Right? Frozen
and
Girl.
Oh,
actually, I stumbled across it.
Just terrible
and
haircut on him, but
I thought it was a new movie. I didn't know that it came out in like 2013 or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, he's got like a Cat Williams perm,
yeah.
and it looked hilarious on him. But it fit the part.
Yeah.
And it was
Because
probably
he
the look back then in
He was like an old school
2013.
pimp, and it was. I mean, that was the thing
The
back
thing,
then.
yeah.
You had the straight hair.
And I
So-
gotta say, he's really down to earth.
Okay.
And what really got me on the side was we were filming outside. It was snowing. It was -30. It was miserable. It was an overnight shoot
Okay.
as well, so didn't even have the sunshine. We were far away from base camp, out on this
Where was this
abandoned
at?
runway up in Alaska.
Oh, they did shoot it up in Alaska.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that
you
movie
came
is
down there.
100% shot in Alaska.
Okay.
So
I kinda thought
all
so,
that
'cause-
downtown and all that, that's all Alaska.
Yeah, yeah.
And so miserable conditions, snowing, dark, everything, and long ways from the base camp. So they would have, you know, the SUVs to pick up the actors and bring them to set. And at that point, we're hitting a long hour, and came over the radio like, okay, he's coming to set, and he had gotten out of the car. Like, he was getting in to be driven to set. He got back out of the car, and he's like, I know it's cold, but all that crew is out there being cold. The least I can do is walk to set and walk
Oh, wow.
back.
Wow.
Like, I don't need to be driven if these guys are working in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that was immediately
that's
like,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As soon as any actors, and especially stars that you're used to seeing, and
Okay.
you know, you're like, oh man, look at this guy or gal, and having them just be humble, normal people,
Mhm.
you realize that they're just doing a job too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like, they understand they are entertainers and they have a persona to
Mhm.
project.
Right.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, they're just as tired, they're working just as hard,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they're putting a lot out there as well.
Mhm.
I
Like,
have
we're
a,
sitting here making fun of, you know, 50's hair and that.
yeah, yeah.
No, but that's part of the whole look he was going for anyways. He wants
Yeah.
us to talk about it this way.
Yeah.
So he doesn't come with an entourage, he doesn't be all
Oh,
50, so when he's on set, he's more like Curtis. Or
Yeah, it's Curtis. It's
Okay.
not,
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing a job. He got hired, and you know that's not the persona that he's there
He
to
came
be.
to work, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about Sandra? Sandra Bullock, how was she?
That was the other clone.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
all
It was
body
all-
doubles for
oh.
Yeah,
that one.
both of those all mini-me's.
Okay.
Did you work on Silence with the Michael Madsen film that was just recently shot here in Washington?
No, I got asked, and
Okay.
I managed to
I,
avoid that one.
speaking of actors that are
Just-
down,
No, don't skip it, hold on.
no, the only reason why I bring that up is because you were talking about how down to earth 50 Cent was, and
Mhm.
I was blown away. I didn't think that we were actually going to get to meet Michael Madsen, but at the tail end of the second day, he showed up, and that guy's work ethic is unbelievable. He came from the hospital because he had recently been in a car accident. His whole leg was split open. Came from the hospital getting shots and all kinds of stuff. Came to set, limped in front of camera, and then got his composure, did his acting, and then went and sat back down. But when he was sitting down, he was the coolest guy in the world. Didn't care if people came up. He had a lot of bad things to say about Bruce Willis. But
Y'all skipping stuff, like what?
yeah, he was hilarious. He told me to my face. He was like, Bruce Willis is an asshole, and I'll tell him that to his face.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay.
Most actors are like that.
Yeah.
At lunch break, like there's on oh man, what movie? Big Miracle.
Mm.
Ted Danson would sit down with us and eat lunch every day.
Really?
I thought he was art department because he was wearing a scarf all the time. I had not really, like, it never registered with me that he was an actor. I thought he was working in the art department. So
He
it's
was
like,
being
just sitting
fancy, uppity.
it cracked me up. Like,
That's called shmoney.
it took like over a week for me to be like, oh.
That's who he is.
That's
That
who
guy
he
look
is.
familiar. That's funny. So you have some stuff that you're working on right now?
There's a feature that we shot here in Washington. It's doing some retooling. I don't know how much I can say about it because it's being completely revamped. And
Can we know the title?
called Apex.
Oh,
I was
yes.
going to ask you
I saw
about
it
that.
on there, yeah.
Because I saw it on your IMDb page, but I couldn't find any information about it.
Yeah, I mean
So-
it's done. It's
Okay.
in
Oh, okay.
post. But we might do some reshoots on it.
Just the
I'm
poster
just trying to
art.
expand the story a little bit.
Okay.
Is
Just
it
the
a pinch?
poster art alone is interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It's a fascinating piece. It's just that The director, there's some story elements that he had not put in the original script. And now watching it, he's like, I want to put them back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So hopefully by the end of the year that will be done.
When something like that happens, is that a very difficult transition, like to adjust and add it in between opposed to doing it as you
I
go?
personally hate it.
Okay, so that is
Especially after a long
it's a
gap.
pain. Okay.
Especially after a long gap. And
Are they talking about like reshoots and things like that?
it's
or
additional scenes.
additional scenes?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's not as bad
Right.
Yeah.
as going back and reshooting.
Because then you
which
got
is-
to get everything just right the way it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's, and on a lower budget like that, it's too much hassle.
Yeah.
So
Would it be okay to, is it too soon to share a little bit about it, about the movie Apex, or just like kind of a trailer?
no, it's basically a mysterious stranger shows up and infiltrates the Illuminati, like the Illuminati type organization. It's not the Illuminati, but
Okay.
and
Okay.
kind of tries to shake it down from within.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So, and
Sounds even more interesting.
Yeah. It's a good
using a
Yeah.
lot of awesome locations around here.
Mhm.
We shot inside the state capitol, and we shot at the dome room down in
Oh yeah.
Pioneer Square, the big
Yep.
pretty dome,
Uh-huh.
and I mean just beautiful locations that were found, and it looks fantastic on the screen. Punches, I think, way above its weight class in terms of what the budget was and what
Right.
it looks like on screen, which is always the trick with low budget.
The artwork looks amazing. So I mean, it looks like a blockbuster
Yeah, the
film.
director has a very clear vision in his head.
Okay.
Of what he
That's always
wants.
nice.
Right,
That's
exactly.
always nice.
Alright.
So were you producer on that? Or?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I was originally the gaffer, and they didn't have a producer, and it kind of went off
You
the
know
rails
what?
partway through. And I sat there and I was getting paid and just did my job.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they're like, "Okay, we need help, like with this movie. We need to make this right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We looked you up. Can you produce for us as well?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to ask.
Right.
Yes, I can help you.
Little do they know they had a gem right there the whole
So
time.
we got
yeah.
back on track. So
Mhm.
hopefully, we.
I'll be getting in your ear about producing a couple of films that we're working on right now too.
I love producing.
So early pre-production right now. We're finalizing some scripts, but we'll definitely be talking soon.
Yeah, I just love making things go, and in my mind, movie should be made in pre-production. Like that should be
Absolutely.
production should be the easiest part of the entire thing. Like you should know exactly how everything's going to run, and
Everything should be
you
prepared.
can have surprises,
Yeah,
but
of course.
you know you got to be ready for them.
You got to work out all the bugs beforehand, before you get on camera.
And with
Preventative care.
with experience, you can anticipate the problems before they happen.
Yes.
You know the 3 things that are going to go wrong before they happen.
Or what things to watch out for so they don't go wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna babysit this, really. Yeah, wow, this is amazing. I was just telling him, like, I just feel starstruck a little bit. Do you get that way sometimes? I mean, you're dealing with some big.
Don't, because again,
Okay.
like,
Because
You
you get to
realize
see
that
the
they're
real
just-
side of people. It's
And-
not just that what we see on TV.
and I've made some great friends with people that are considered stars now,
Okay.
and you know, talking and making plans for little passion projects and everything. Like
Yeah.
it just kind of feeds off of each other, and when you start seeing like stars as people, they really open up, and you get a whole nother experience, and then you know they're gonna come play on your project.
Yeah, yeah. I was lucky enough to learn that early on because I actually started out in the music industry. And very early, I mean, I think I was like 16 the first time that I actually worked with a big name artist. And when they weren't on stage, when we were backstage in the green room or you know, even out doing something because they had to go buy a new hat for the show or whatever, you learn really quick that they're just people that just like you. It's when they're on stage, it's a persona, you know. When they're on camera, it's a persona.
Yeah.
They're not that person all the time. And so
Yes.
it was, I feel blessed that I learned that early on so that when I finally did make the transition into doing film and stuff, I wasn't all googly eyed when
Yeah.
I showed up on set.
It's like there's an actor I worked with, and he's a very, he has a very loud presence.
Okay.
He's very big persona. You get him in a quiet area and just one-on-one, and he's completely different. And I asked him about it. I'm like, man, you're like, just really chill right now. He's like, when I walk in the room, that's who they want to see.
That
They
makes
want to
sense.
see this persona. They want to see the movie star.
Yep. Yeah.
So he's like, when I'm alone and having a fine scotch,
Yeah.
I can just be me.
Yeah.
I don't need
Just
to
chill
be
out.
loud and brash.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of different actors, and so I never heard it from the producer or from the other point of view. More of them like to do movies opposed to like sitcom or episodes. Is it harder work on your end as well? Because the way they described it is like it's just long hours, and as if movies aren't long hours as well. But I guess you get to wrap it up.
I think they're completely different animals.
Okay.
And how the
I've
story
heard that.
structure is shot, and
Okay.
it's different.
Okay, so
Plus the timetable that you
Right.
get to work with is drastically different.
Yeah.
Working on a TV show, you got a week to make something.
right.
Usually.
I like working movies because was my first love.
Mhm.
Okay.
Doing TV or series is completely different, and I don't get as much enjoyment out of it, but at the same time, it's still enjoyable. I think it's actually a harder thing to produce because there's more moving parts. You have to keep that arc all the way across multiple seasons and multiple episodes and make it all work, because you might be shooting 7 episodes and you're shooting, all across those 7, you're shooting everything in one block, but it's going to be in 7 different episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Because
like trying to keep it straight.
I was like, oh, to get maybe 8 episodes, 10 episodes, maybe it's a year of filming, right? And then I'm like, oh, make a movie about a year of filming. And I'm like, oh, that's the same damn thing, but it's not, right?
Yeah.
It's tomato, kind of, no, not yet, not really. The reason why I asked about the episodes and sitcoms is because you worked with Noah Trevor.
Oh, a long time ago.
Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't Noah Trevor. That was
Was it
before he took over.
I don't know what he was doing when you were.
No, who did
Before he
that
did his own show?
Okay.
Yeah, who was on that show before? It was I did
Not Jay Leno, but
No, I remember.
all the late night ones.
I can
the
picture
guy.
his face.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
so you were there before Trevor was on the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Okay.
I
So
did
you weren't with, so you were with the previous,
the previous host.
but still you were at probably the late night.
Yeah, and
show.
well, they're the pieces, so they send out their correspondents to do
Okay.
the stories, and that's how I would get looped into those, because whenever, of course, the correspondent was in Alaska.
Okay.
Oh, so
I'd
you'd be on
called
location.
and I'd
Right.
be doing
Shooting
the location
something.
shoot with the correspondent.
Okay.
Okay.
And then sometimes, them being called in, so like, Colbert, I remember Colbert. we did
Yes.
Something with Colbert.
Colbert,
Yes,
yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did something with him.
Exactly.
Yeah, those were always fun.
Yeah.
Again, when it's a tiny little pool in Alaska,
Uh huh.
you're kind of high up on the call list for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
call to happen.
Kind of making me want to move to Alaska now.
Hey, now, not everybody. He already said he's the president of Alaska.
I spent 6 months in Alaska. I don't think I probably won't go
Secretary
back.
of State, maybe. I don't know.
But I was fishing at that time. I wasn't doing film. So,
Doing film about that now. So.
right.
Um,
Real quick, to our viewers, if you have any questions, type them in the comments. Big T over here behind the camera will put them on the whiteboard, and we will do our best to answer any questions that our viewers have.
I actually just now got one
Oh.
for Michael.
Me?
Yeah. As a filmmaker, what is your favorite genre to create?
Oh, good question.
yeah, who said that?
Oh,
I yeah.
you know,
Lexi?
Lexi? Okay.
Good question.
I'm not familiar with names.
I really love comedy, but I have not tackled comedy really. I've done one comedic short. I think I have too much respect for the genre, and I'm afraid of
Gotcha.
doing it. I do really love sci-fi. Love sci-fi, love action, love historical action.
Okay. We definitely have some films you need to jump on board with then. We have a comedy, we have an action, and we have a crime drama. So, all getting the scripts finalized.
Yeah, that's my one big rule.
Shameless self-plug.
Yeah, that's one of my big rules is always a finished script. I will never read an idea because and somebody's like, well, why? I'm like, everyone has an idea. You go to the supermarket and everyone there has a movie idea.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Every single person I meet
ideas are all over.
from a rapper I just shot a music video with, all of a sudden they got the best movie idea in the world, to just some Joe Schmo that I met on the street. Oh, I got a movie idea. As soon as they hear that you work in the film industry.
I got an idea. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I almost feel like you're talking about me, but not around company. I'll bring it up later, but I kind of almost feel that's what you're doing. So the one thing that I did notice about your portfolio, specifically stalking you again, only that one time though. When I was stalking you.
It's all right.
I didn't go back and restock you.
Short-term stalking.
Right, there you go. I'm rehabilitated now. And so you do a lot: producing, editing, short films, big Hollywood films, the grunt work, so much. So to me, automatically when I look at that, I said, you challenge. You're also an actor. You have your own shows. There's so much, for me to say, but it looks like, okay, challenge. Like there's so many things you're like, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do that. I'm going to challenge myself. So what's the most challenging out of all the things that you've done, or maybe things that you haven't done yet that you feel? Because it seems like you've kind of mastered all the things that you are doing.
Well, part of that spread is, again, going back to what I said earlier, that I think a producer should have an idea of every department.
Okay.
And they should work at least one job within that department, even if it's shadowing.
Okay.
They should know how it works.
Yeah.
I can tell you I hate doing audio. I haven't done audio in a long time, and I will not touch it.
Okay.
You cannot pay me enough to touch it. I hate it. One challenge that I worked on Robert the Bruce, and that was the Montana film, and I actually did props. I built the props, and I built the
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You really are versatile.
Right, he's an artist too.
Well, I have a boutique swordsmithing and bladesmithing, historical bladesmithing. So that's how I got looped into that.
Oh,
It's kind of
interesting.
a hobby, and I made some pieces, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come work on this film?"
Okay.
And one of my buddies, I'm like, "Well, I've never worked in the art department. I've never worked props.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've never done this." He's like, "You'll do fine. You know how a set works." I'm like, "I do." So showed him. So that was an interesting challenge, and I loved it.
Mhm.
I absolutely loved working in that department, and I'd go do it again. It's a different kind of stress, because producing, directing, that's one kind of stress. Head of department's another kind of stress.
Okay.
Just showing up and just doing a job. Sometimes it's almost relaxing,
Yeah.
where you are
Yeah.
learning something about film still. You should always be learning something about film,
Right.
but not having that stress of the whole movie riding on your shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And-
But
Different kind of
you're
responsibility.
still part of creating something
Mhm.
magical.
Yeah.
The fun part? You
That's
found it enjoyable? Would you do it again?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, the production designer on that has talked to me a couple times about possibly working in the art department again. He said, "Would you do it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Nice.
I'd come play again.
So,
Well, there's all
One-stop
kinds of
shop.
ways that I want to use this guy here pretty soon.
so one man show. You don't need nobody else.
Well,
It's a Walmart
You do
film.
everything.
I just love to create. I
Mhm.
love to create. I don't care how or where I am on a set.
Yeah.
I have my preferences, but at the end of the day, I just want to make movies.
Just be
Right.
part of something
Yeah,
that is entertaining.
yeah. It's like, this is what I
Yeah.
love to do. This is what I was born to do,
Yeah.
and
Took
I
me a
enjoy
long
it.
time to figure that out.
Is it difficult to adjust with everybody that's on production? Like it's a two-part question, always, right?
Yeah.
So you have your own stuff that you have going on, and then you hire other people to come in and join you and help you produce your film that you're making, but you know how to do everything as well.
Yeah, but you can't do it all yourself.
I know, so how, is it hard to
That's a hard hurdle
not to
get
be in the
over.
kitchen and be, you know,
No,
like
actually,
be everywhere?
I've never struggled with that.
Okay.
Because I firmly believe in surrounding yourself with the best people possible.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I'm not the best at every role.
Okay.
I can do the roles.
Yeah.
I'm not the best.
He's the
Yeah.
best.
I can do them though.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be the first to say that. And there's so many other people better at certain aspects.
Mm.
And to hire them is going to benefit your project even more.
So you're able to
Yeah.
loosen the grips a little bit and not be so controlling with each position, because you know
Well, that's
every
the thing with
position.
film. It's like you should trust whoever you're hiring.
Okay.
That's a huge thing. It took me so many years to finally find the crew that my internal crew that I work with now.
Uh-huh.
And once I finally found these guys, my guy Sheldon and my guy Urko, his name's Michael, but Urko Films, he's my primary DP. Sheldon kind of started out as just a production assistant because he wanted to learn everything. But now he steps up, he does lights, he's doing a lot of writing for us right now, a lot of script writing. But once we got together and really found that cohesive vibe, where it was such a huge weight off my shoulders to know that I could tell my guy Michael, my DP, this is the shot I need, and I could walk away and come back and he's got the shot.
I mean, that's where filmmaking is a
And-
collaborative art form.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
And before that, anybody I worked with, I had to micromanage everything because I didn't really know them like that to know if they had the skills to be able to capture what I had in my head. And that's the most difficult thing, is getting what's in your head into the camera. So yeah, it's a huge blessing to finally find those people.
Since we're name dropping, TT, Big T, I can't do this without you, boo. You know I'm gonna mention you.
Real quick,
Oh, go
it's
ahead.
also that matter of on the collaborative filmmaking aspect and trusting the people you're hiring. I just can't say enough about that. And even though you know that job, it actually helps you communicate with the people faster.
Okay.
If you know lights, if you know cameras, if you know art, if you know these things, you can communicate in their language, in their department language, what
Yeah.
you're looking for.
yeah.
And you can also understand them, and it helps, I think, make a better project in the end. Like, it's...
Speaking of language, like you were saying earlier, there's a whole different terminology on a film set. So for our viewers that aren't familiar with how we would talk on a film set, explain real quick what being a producer actually means.
And I like saying that a producer is the admiral. They can have more than one project going at once.
Okay.
You know, they're doing the logistics, they're doing the ins and outs, they're doing the money, they're doing all the paperwork, office type stuff. The director is more of a captain of the ship. You know,
Okay.
they're focused on one ship.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it does all come through them. So, I mean, that's kind of the most basic.
Yeah.
I think we got a question too, one more question from one of our
Yeah.
viewers. I can't think of her name. What was the viewer's name?
The first question?
Yes, no, now, the next question.
Now, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but
Okay, Sheldon has a
Yeah.
question? Okay.
that he would like to know if the viewers can look forward to both Michael and Focus working on a project in the future.
Hey, why you guys leave me out?
He's
Alright.
trying
If I can interrupt, I'm a fan of this guy. This guy said everything that I'm like, man.
he's trying to put us on the spot.
He's trying to take my place. Don't let him.
Get a finished script and
Absolutely. See, he said, Sheldon, get a finished script.
Yeah.
So finish the writing, and we'll talk to Michael about getting on board.
Oh, well, if Sheldon's writing the script, I'm already in it. I'm already know. I'm in that. I'm
That's
just
a good
he,
point.
exactly how he said it's gonna happen for me. He said he kind of just slipped right into it. Kind of got lucky. I'm going for that. That's what I'm going for.
So why don't we?
You still talking about writing a script?
I'm saying, do you?
Do I write a script?
Sheldon's just jumping.
No.
You want to come sit down and be
I
part of the
will.
show?
I wrote one feature ever, and then I realized that I'm terrible at it. But I did try it. Again, it's like that whole idea of like,
Yeah.
do it, see what is involved.
Yeah.
And so I did write, but there are far better writers out there.
I have to actually give Sheldon some credit. He had never written a script before, to my knowledge, and recently he jumped on board for a couple of different scripts because I was too busy. And I'm like you. I've written a couple of scripts, but there are far better writers than me.
Like me.
My first time writing a script, I had a client that wanted me to shoot a film for him, and he brought me basically like 8 different emails that had like 4 scenes in each email, and they were out of order, so I had to like piece it together and fill in the gaps and everything. So that was my first time actual experience writing a script, but it came together decent enough. Came together decent enough. We won't go into any further detail than that, but it kind of gave me the bug to try and write more. So I have a couple of scripts that I'm writing, but Sheldon he's so anxious to get his ideas. He's a great idea guy. He'll bring me ideas, and then I'll kind of flesh them out into a full story.
That's part of the producing aspect too. Like on some of these reality shows, is
Yeah.
like come up with a story,
Uh-huh.
and then we'd send it out to the writers
Yeah.
to write the episodes. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
reality.
Here's
Reality
the
is not
idea.
reality.
Yeah,
So,
Here's the idea. You guys make it.
yeah, it's like, this is what we
Watchable.
have. This is the storyline. Put it together in
Yeah.
some logical way.
Yeah, I figured out the hard way that it wasn't reality. Cardi B is on this show called whatever, right? And so it was in the past. And she's, they asked her after she became famous I guess now she's an actress as well. And then
Yeah.
became famous for her music,
She's
right?
not a bad actress.
No, for her roles that she plays, she
Yeah.
fits them, And so,
They give her roles that are her.
right, exactly.
Okay, you just act like yourself.
Yeah, just do your
Well
thing.
done.
Just go out there and be you.
And so the way she described how she got on the show, she said they were casting for the show. So that's when I was like, wait, what does that mean? I was like, wait a minute, dude. Like auditions, tryouts, right? So that's when I was like, oh, so it's not about.
Not to be confused with the casting couch,
Yeah.
which we
Do
were
you wanna
joking
talk-
about when he first showed up.
Oh, were we joking about that?
This is a very suspicious setup here, so just throwing that out there.
Well, how I got involved was, I was told it was going to be the green room and we were interviewing great people like you. But you're not, you don't have to take off your glasses if you don't want to. So.
Oh, good.
But you do.
Oh, I do.
No. Okay.
I'm the scary one when I take my glasses off. Anyway,
I swear, some people.
why don't we? You had sent us your most recent reel.
Well, it's sort of a reel. It was more like I need to show something besides just the grip and electric stuff from a million years ago, and I've never actually put anything together. So when this came up, I was like, okay, I better look through something, like have some kind of footage to show.
Yeah, you were
Some
actually
idea.
saying nobody had ever asked you for a reel
I've
until you
never
got
been
to
asked
Seattle.
for a reel until I moved here. So
That's wild.
never had a reel.
So, do you have that the YouTube clip? No,
Well, this makes me sad.
the link that I gave you. Oh,
We'll still be able to post it on there later.
It's not working. The way
So,
that-
okay.
No, it's not working.
we're having a
It's
technical
so-
issue with the link. So what
it's
we
so
will
pretty.
do,
It has a lot of the features and a lot of the
what we will do,
as it should.
we
Chuck the
will-
Apex on there.
I'm interested about that, yeah. Because it looked like it was scary at first.
It was so scary.
Oh, so it is
No,
scary.
it's not scary.
Okay. I'm chicken. I'm so gullible. So California's okay. So we talked about Alaska.
I'm not going to California.
Oh, we don't go to. Okay, so we're not.
I was
That's a
there.
bad word.
Yeah.
There's. Okay.
Well, Seattle made sense for moving here.
Okay.
I had vacationed down here quite a lot. It's an easy flight from Anchorage. The
Yeah.
people are very similar. The weather's similar. The mountains,
The
the
weather
ocean.
is similar. No, you didn't.
Actually, it's better here.
Okay.
It's far, far better.
Okay.
And that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's
It's cold in Alaska.
it's cold in Alaska. It's always snowing, and
Yeah.
it's just here. Nice mild winters.
Yeah.
So much more sunshine.
So when we're out here, saying, "Oh, it's cold, it's winter," you're like, "Oh no, this is perfect weather.
This is perfect.
This is perfect."
Being able to drink coffee on the porch with my, just in t-shirt
Yeah.
in January
Yeah.
is just awesome.
Yeah, we've had some good, decent winters where they weren't so aggressive. A lot of rain throughout the years. You've been here how long now?
About a year and a half.
Oh, you just got here.
A year and a half.
Oh.
Yeah, just under 2 years. So came end of August of 2018.
And you've already made connections here with people. And
It's been slow,
Okay.
but it's been good. I really like the community here.
So what's your favorite community that you like to shout, like the areas you like to be at, where there's different people that do the things that you do as well in the industry around here?
Here, I don't know. I
The
get called to
green
show.
room?
I
Okay.
get called to show up on a short and
Okay,
work or
so-
something like. I don't know. Again, it's really random when people ask me like, how do you go finding work?
Right.
I honestly have no idea.
They look for you. Is that
No,
what they call
here
it?
I've actually had to try because it's a new community. It's a new I'm not a known an entity here. I'm not a known entity.
Okay.
So it's hard for people who have been working together for years to take a chance and take a risk on
Okay.
an unknown, especially a producer level type thing, which that's a lot of responsibility to just
It
hand
is.
over to a stranger.
Uh-huh.
So I have been doing a lot more in the last year, like gaffing locally, just to be able to be on set with people, to get my face out there, to show that I do know my way around set, and I try to be a likable person.
Right.
So, and then hopefully that will expand out for more local work here.
What about some of the places that you like to hang out just on your leisure? Because there's so many places, shops, cafes, diners.
Oh, I'm a big beer drinker.
Okay, so
I do
there's
that.
a couple breweries.
I do go to the breweries, and I'm in South Seattle, so
Okay.
I'm mainly in the Renton area and Georgetown.
The Georgetown area.
So,
They're building that up nicely, I
oh,
noticed.
Georgetown's lovely.
Yeah.
I actually brought a Spanish crew there through Georgetown because they needed something that was they wanted the gritty, kind of the grime, but still clean.
Uh-huh.
And so brought this crew there, and they shot their whatever they were filming.
Yeah.
But it has a very nice visual look too.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Welcome back.
we fixed
hi.
the technical issue. We
Okay.
can we can cut to your demo reel.
Yeah, the stuff where I just kind of slammed it together. I don't even want to call it a demo reel because it's just a bunch of random clips with repetitive music. Sorry, guys.
Are you ready, T?
Now I'm excited.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and throw to the reel, and then we can go refresh our drinks.
And we're back.
And we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that reel. That was some of Michael's more recent work. Yeah?
Yeah, more on the producing and directing it.
On the producing
There's
and
some
directing
DP
it.
work in there as well, but
Okay.
a little more recent than just that Grip and Electric one.
Yeah,
That one goes
yeah.
way back.
Do you have any part of that reel that stands out as like a favorite project recently?
Not really. I enjoy pretty much every project I'm part of. I know that sounds cliche, but I know it's very cliche, but it's true.
That's how you maintain longevity.
It's also
if
why
you
you-
enjoy everything you're doing.
And it's also a matter of picking the projects too.
Yes.
You can't say yes to every project, especially when a feature is a commitment.
Yes.
And if you're not in love with the story, then is it really worth hitching yourself to it?
Yeah.
Especially, like, money is money, but if you're not invested in it, even emotionally,
Yeah.
it's going to show, and it's going to impact people.
Absolutely.
So I'm very choosy with my projects.
I just recently had a situation like that. A really good friend of mine who's an actor, he's got a passion project that he wants to do. And it's an amazing story. And it's a story that needs to be told. But I don't think, it didn't resonate with me because I haven't been through that specific story. So I was like, I love the story. I'd like to be a part of it in some other way, but I think you'd be better off finding somebody else to do this part of it. And luckily, we're good enough friends that he didn't take it personal or anything like that. He was like, okay, cool.
So is it like, so passion projects, that's indicating as if most of the projects that you do are something that's gonna be, not just a job.
No, I like the job.
You know, like you're not just, oh, it's just this is something I'm interested. I like what they're doing.
Feature, I
with.
want to be invested in it emotionally, for the most part. If I'm producing it.
Right.
And I think that brings about better work too.
Yeah.
But
You
if
know,
you-
if
but-
you feel it in your heart, the storyline or whatever the case may be.
Just getting excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes a difference. But then there are projects that you do take that are not so
Because you gotta keep the
passionate.
lights on.
Right.
Yeah, because you still gotta pay the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I can get excited about most projects in some way. Like, there's always, every project has something new.
Yeah.
And something that you can latch on to.
And I find, of course, I haven't been in the film game nearly as long as you have, but I find every project that I jump on board with, there's always something new to learn. Even if I'm still doing the same job that I've been doing the last 10 times, there's some new nuance that I haven't encountered before every single time. There's something.
Right.
So
That's part of
that's,
why it's so much fun working in film.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
you get to see places and experience things and meet people that you would never have the opportunity to.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Do we have any new questions?
Not as of right now,
Okay.
but
To the viewers, if you have any questions, either for any of us, but mainly for Michael, regarding the film industry or anything, you can ask him what's in his drink. I don't care.
This is water.
Tap it in the comments, and Big T will shout out the question and give you a shout out. Let us know what you're thinking.
Also, everybody put me on the projects, vote for me, make sure
She is dying to get on camera.
that I do all the roles. Well, no, never mind.
Yeah, careful.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for who all is watching this.
I have a special set of skills, and well, that doesn't sound
I
right
will find
either.
you.
Let me put a portfolio together. Hold on.
Sound like Liam Neeson for a second.
Wait, everything I'm doing does not sound. I'm like, okay. You got a way of that, turning all the things that I say. So, really, what's really super, super interesting to me as well is that you're not you're not like, oh, I work with, you're not shouting out, you know, you're not dropping not name calling. You're not like, oh, I'm asking about these names. And I know there's some more that I haven't asked about, and you're not just giving it up. So it's like, I think that's amazing, because I think sometimes people, you know, you have your own portfolio. You have your own body of work, but you're not using these other people that you work with.
I think your work should speak for itself.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've always been a big advocate of the fact that if I'm looking to work with somebody, I don't want to hear how good they are from them. I want to hear how good they are from the people that are fans of them.
Right.
Because I can tell you all day how good I am and then
Right.
show up on set and be complete bullshit.
Right.
But if you have fans that are telling me, you know, you need to work with this guy, then that resonates with me.
Yep.
So,
Again, if you take your ego out of the equation,
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
goes a long ways on a set.
Yeah. I do have something to ask you about. I saw a post that you did that made me crack up, because I completely understand.
Uh-oh.
You were talking about you and a bunch of burly biker looking guys at a bar.
Oh, bar joke.
Uh,
I like that.
do you know what post I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Okay. Can you elaborate on what happened in that scenario? Because
It
I
was
think
a
the
meet,
viewers
so
would
we're all
appreciate that.
big, you know. I was the smallest guy in there.
Okay.
All of us, and the shortest beard, too. Yeah. And there was a single woman in this meadery, and she was something like, I need to go to a convenience store to get tampons. And every guy in that spot was like,
She's like, where is this going?
oh, we have tampons in our cars.
Oh.
Like, every single guy was like, I have a tampon, I have a tampon. Like,
Really?
and it was just like, what? Why does everyone here have a tampon?
Right.
Now explain why.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
the greatest survival tool and first aid tool that you can have in your car. It's
Okay.
good for, you know, plugging up cuts, bullet holes, nosebleeds.
Bullet holes, cuts, and nosebleeds.
Yep.
And it's in your medicine.
Yeah, medicine
First aid kit.
First aid survival kit. Yeah.
So when you open it up, you got Band-Aid, you got alcohol wipes, and tampons.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
you can
do
use
they
them.
come in every size, or like
Not just
what
just
kind
your
of?
generic, because you can
you
also
just
use
get
it
generic?
for.
Okay. You give
it's
us one of
great.
the generic tampons.
It's great for fire starters. You have, you know,
It's
the
a very
cording.
versatile
You
tool.
can use it as a first stage water filter. I mean, the
And he's
list,
not even kidding.
No, the list is
No, not at all.
It's a huge long list
Right.
of why it should be in everyone's kit.
Okay. Well, so everybody has one.
Uh,
Nice.
When I was in the military, I got field trained as a medic,
Uh-huh.
and that was one of the first things that they gave us was a package of tampons.
Yeah,
And they were
I'm,
like,
I'm
"This
dating the
is
wrong kind of
probably-
guys.
This is probably the one thing that you'll use most
Yeah.
out of everything in your kit.
Very useful.
That's interesting. I don't know a guy who carries any tampons, and then you don't know a guy who doesn't.
We're gonna meet in the middle. Don't worry. Wow, that's fun. Yeah,
I
that's
just
a
thought
funny.
that was a funny story.
Yeah, that is super funny. I like that.
Yeah, it made me laugh. I'm just like, okay, that's happening.
Any other super funny experiences that you can think of? Bloopers that you want to share?
And nothing that would not throw people under the bus.
Oh.
You don't have to say their name. I mean, if you do,
No,
there's
we'll
only
just
a
say
few hundred people.
Things can get a little weird if you put a crew into a hotel and that has a bar, especially.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
all your downtime and nobody leaves, so you're stuck in a hotel with a
Yeah.
bar.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there before with the music game. We haven't done a lot of on the road trips yet as far as film goes, but same scenario. When you're stuck in a hotel, you got show after show after show, and you can't go anywhere because by the next morning, you know, you need to be accountable.
Well,
And so we're just stuck at the hotel bar and very limited places to go.
Yep.
So yeah,
I was working one corporate, and we were in Reno, and they put us up in a casino. It's like, what client in their
Feels
right
like a
mind is going to
setup.
put a filmmaking group,
Right.
like a bunch of filmmakers, into a casino, and then be like, oh, 7 a.m. call. Now,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
we made it, but the moment of like looking, you're like, oh man, I got 4 hours.
Because at the moment it's making good sense. We don't want to go too far. We want to stay here so we can get to work
Yeah.
in the morning.
You're still
Easy
responsible.
breezy.
You show up on set still smelling like whiskey.
It wouldn't have made a
Did you
difference
just
if we
have a
went
drink?
away or stayed
No,
close.
it was like 4 hours ago.
Right. Same difference. Today, you had a
Yeah.
drink today. Same time as the work schedule day. Yeah. But I've heard there are a lot of actors that kind of work under the influence and they do good. You know, whether it be
Not riding a horse, I can tell you that.
no,
Terrible idea.
no, yeah.
You were the guy filming Kanye? No, I'm playing. That was a joke. Don't come at me, Kanye. I can handle 50 Cent.
You
I
can
can't handle
50.
Kanye.
But Kanye comes with a bigger
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah.
He comes with the
The
whole president.
Kardashian family behind him.
Oh, yeah. They're bigger
I
than the
love-
president. The
I love you,
Kardashians.
Kanye.
Oh, look at you. Don't be scary. Just get a tampon and plug your bullet.
So what do you have coming up next? I know we talked about the Apex is pretty much
Yeah, it's in post.
Finished.
And I got two other features that are in post. One's actually done and finished. It's about, and then the other one, we want to release them right next to each other because they're kind
Okay.
of tied together.
Okay.
And they'll be on Amazon probably the next couple months.
nice.
And then I'm in pre-pro right now of a feature that is probably going to be in Georgia that we'll be filming.
Okay.
We really wanted to bring it to Washington, and it will not work out.
No.
Yeah, the budget's high enough that with no above-the-line incentives in Washington,
Yeah.
it doesn't make financial sense to bring the film here.
I thought they just reopened up basically the pocketbook for
There's
Washington.
no above-the-line incentives, though.
Oh,
And without an
okay.
above-the-line incentive, no big film is going to come here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because that's where their big savings are.
The breaks, yeah.
And
So is Disney not coming? I heard Disney was gonna come down here. Is Disney not coming?
but you know, without the above-the-line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a hard sell, and especially that to get it, you need like 80% local hire or something like that as well. That's another hard thing to do.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
was
bring your keys in,
talking
but-
to the film office and because we were talking about some of the local, the small film incentives that they have going on, and they were like, well, no, basically you need to fund the whole thing yourself,
Yeah.
and then once it's all done, then we'll reimburse you for part of it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, we can't even sign people on until we get the funding.
Yeah.
So,
Question.
yeah, it's tricky. Oh, we have a question.
Yeah. Kendall J. Javis asks, assuming to you,
Big Kendall.
Michael, is how do you look up in the industry?
Who do you look up to in the industry?
Who do I look up to? That's a really good question. In all honesty, like I've worked with a lot of my heroes now.
Okay.
I still. It's gonna sound weird, but Lucas still has a soft spot in my heart.
George Lucas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the fact that he was such an innovator, and Star Wars is why I do what I do.
I can see that.
And
Yeah.
I went to the Smithsonian. It was called the Magic of Myth, and they had a bunch of costumes and props and stuff from Star Wars,
Oh wow.
and then also compared it with mythology and how it's space opera and.
Yeah.
But looking at everything, it was that first moment of being like, there are people who make movies. Movies don't just exist.
Yeah.
There's a whole army behind there making it.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of.
And it truly is an
started-
army
Yeah, it
of
started.
people.
It started. That's really what got the gears turning. Like, this is
I look at little featurettes of, like from back in the first A New Hope, from George Lucas, and I can't believe the film that they came out with, given the just bare bones stuff that they were working with.
Sticks and
Yeah.
super glue. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's amazing what the final product came out to be, and how iconic it wound up being. I don't think anybody from the start, I don't think anybody expected it to be that iconic.
yeah. So like, yeah, Star Wars to me is big. Still that big movie in the background.
Yeah.
Started also sparked the whole love of sci-fi.
Let me put you on the spot. What do you think about the later Star Wars?
I live a peaceful life. I love all Star Wars.
That is an argument he doesn't want to get into, people.
No. But I do. I enjoy them all. I mean, there's.
No, I'm with you. They all hold a special place because of the roots with the original.
And I do think the fans, with the internet, fans can destroy a movie.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
can make it or break
Absolutely.
it.
Look at when the first teaser came out for Sonic.
Yep. Although that's a positive thing. I thought that was a positive because they listened and they redid Sonic.
Yeah,
I mean, amazing.
I applaud the effects house that pulled the trailer, and they were like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The complaints, but that just goes to show how impactful the fans actually can be. I mean, way back, that's how, what was the name of it? Firefly, the movie Firefly.
I love Firefly.
That's how the movie wound up
I
getting
love,
made,
love,
is
love
because
Firefly.
they canceled the series and
Yeah.
the fans went into an uproar.
Yep.
And I really wish they would bring it back. Still to this day, even after the movie.
Part of it's just like, nah, just let it lie. Let it.
Yeah,
let it-
that's true.
I have another question.
Oh, another question.
By the same person,
Kindle, big
Uh,
Kindle.
have you been to Comic Con?
No, not the one locally.
We gotta
I
go.
accidentally wandered into one in California.
Oh, accidentally.
It's kind of, well,
So-
no, I end up in weird places all the time by accident. One
Okay.
was the Comic Con.
Did you happen to
I
be wearing
went
a
to a furry
Stormtrooper
convention
outfit?
in Pittsburgh once.
Okay.
That was really bizarre. I mean, like, I was trying to find a place to eat, and I ended up at a furry convention. I'm like, what is going on here?
And it was like one of those situations where you're like, what's going on? But I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna
Oh,
stay.
yeah, it's like,
I'm
this
still gonna
is
I'm
interesting.
gonna check it out.
You know what a furry convention is, right?
No, I don't
Okay.
Comic-Con is.
Oh,
Furry.
oh.
Google it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show.
Oh yeah, so do we like that? Everybody shaking their head. I don't want to know. Okay.
It's,
Well, I
We'll
don't
just let it
feel.
lie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just, I have the knack for it because I did years of location scouting too. I have this knack of just letting my feet lead me to random places, and sometimes things can get interesting. So.
If it's one of those situations with people in the farm and animals, I'm not about that life. I'm not about that.
no, it's not that bad. It's not like West Virginia type party.
Oh my God.
Once we go off the stream, we'll
Okay. I'll let you guys know the scoop. What
There
it
might be
is.
some kids watching, so we don't want to get too detailed. But thank you, Kendall. I appreciate it. And was it Alexi earlier?
Alexa, yeah.
She's actually going to be on the show later next month, I think.
Yeah.
She's a talent manager, and she's coming on with.
Sorry.
Do you happen to know Alexi?
No.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that wasn't the reason for the laugh.
No. Just
But-
the job. I'm like, oh, bless you.
Yes, yes. She's got her hands full because she's got a number of very talented people. I'll give them that.
Okay.
But I tried being a manager with musicians,
Mhm.
and I never wanted to break things more in my life. just I was mad at the floor for being on the floor.
Why are you down there?
Yeah. But yeah, she's gonna come on the show later in the season with Joy and I can't pronounce her name, but a very young actress who's extremely gifted. But you'll be able to find that on the Facebook page. We're gonna have a whole list of the whole first season guests that are coming on. So,
You don't make it until you get haters. You know, that's what
Oh, that's true.
I'm learning. You know, like it's
I
like,
used to have a shirt that said I need new haters, my old ones became fans.
oh yeah, you turned them out. What did you do? You buy them? A little vampire stuff going on.
Oh boy.
So I did notice as well that a lot of people in this industry use their profile for politics. I know a lot of people don't talk about religion and politics of that nature. But I like the fact that my favorite type of, you know, in the industry when they talk about politics is the joke, the comedy part of it.
Mm.
So now that things have changed, because certain things nowadays you really can't say from a comedy point of view. And does that work the same?
So sensitive.
Right. Does that work the same in the film industry as well? Because the film kind of exposes stuff, you know, like the
Sure.
Terminator. You know,
Film
like
is
that's the
powerful,
new
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's happening now. It exposed it a long time ago. We didn't notice. I look at film as exposing, not necessarily making fun or jabbing,
Well, I think,
as a comedian would be considered, even though it's just a joke, maybe.
I think, and I'm sure you could chime in on this,
Yeah.
as a producer and even a writer.
Okay.
Like what I had done a post not too long ago. I just watched, you mentioned Terminator.
Yeah.
I had just watched the new Terminator.
Yeah.
And I was kind of making a joke about the irony of the fact that we're living in a world where Trump is our president.
Mm-hmm.
And his biggest thing is building this wall to keep Mexico away from America. But in the new Terminator movie, the savior of the world is a young Latina girl that has to climb under the wall
Right.
to come save the world in America.
Right. Yeah.
So I think one of the beauties of film is that you can address things kind of from the side
Okay.
without it being just in your face. Like, no, what's going on is wrong. But you can still be like, no, what's going on is wrong, but as an undertone.
Yep.
Expect
I mean, I was
And-
just sent a script yesterday that I read. I was not prepared to read it. I thought it was going to be something completely different. But again, it definitely has a political message in it.
Yeah.
And again, that's where you have to kind of look at it and be like, do I want my name attached to this? Is this
Right.
something that I
Yeah.
actually am invested in?
Because this could bring
Am I
down
gonna
some
take it
heat
just as a
or,
paycheck?
you know, yeah.
But it's the type of project that doesn't matter if it's just a paycheck, your name is still attached.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one that I have to think about.
So this
Yeah.
game is not necessarily about project underneath my belt. It's also the body and the quality of work, because depending on what project you did, that could stop your future. Somebody who's looking at like some that maybe
Especially
interested in doing
starting
something
out.
with you. Yeah.
Especially starting
Yeah.
out,
Uh-huh.
because there is that
Really,
old,
if you're early on,
motto
yeah.
of
Okay.
like, going good is your last project, which I, at this point, don't believe. In fact, I just did there's this secret project I did out there, and it's actually streaming. You'd have to find it.
Mhm.
But the guy was like, I want the worst commercial ever shot.
I need to see this.
He's like, I want the worst commercial ever shot. I want every trope, every bad graphic. I mean, I did the first cut, sent it to me, he's like, it needs to be worse. I mean, back and forth, it's just like, it needs to be worse.
Worse than that, right?
Yeah. So my name's not attached to it right now. It's still a
Right.
very secret, like, little thing, but it's out there and should actually be playing at the Arc Cinema here soon. In,
You gotta
Queen
send me
City.
a link to that.
Yeah,
when
we'd
we're
love
off
to-
camera.
yeah, we'd love to
I
go.
can
Yeah,
totally
it's
get that.
Yeah.
terrible.
We were recently on a set together, and I actually got to see you do your work as a gaffer, and that was very impressive. He even messaged me later on after the shoot was over, and he was like, "I'm sorry I didn't have time to talk, but they really had him hopping." The call time for me, I was just an extra, a background extra in a bar scene, and the call time for me was 5:30 in the morning. So it was still dark when I got out there. But by the time they had everybody in place and they had the cameras set up and everything, the sun had come up. So all of a sudden they had to send Michael out to put black sheets over the windows and everything.
I like calling it extra wrapping. Extra wrap the room.
That's exactly what it looked like from the outside. we would go outside to have a break, and it looked like they were doing pest control because there was black plastic wrap hanging on every window around this entire bar.
Right.
And I'm sure anybody driving by thought the place was closed down.
Right, it'd be renovated or something, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And then I remember sitting there watching the main actors doing something, and the wind kicked up outside. And this guy jumps up and he runs outside, and he's clamping down some blankets that were by this one door because they were blowing, and all of a sudden there was light that wasn't supposed to be there. It was really impressive to watch him actually do what he does.
I don't want to word it wrong, but doing that type of work is kind of how you started, right? And then you've done some amazing work since then, and other in the same field, but other hats. And like you said, there's a hierarchy to, different positions and different hats that you wear. How do you, it's interesting for me to hear, and you're like doing a great job at it. Like here, I'm just gonna grab a paycheck and do this grunt work over here because I can. You're literally hands on board, as if you were at the beginning, how you were doing it at the very beginning or whatever. So I guess for me it's pretty interesting. Is there such a thing as, oh, I don't do that anymore, or, I do this now?
I mean, I want that one path, but at the same time I think it's important to remember your roots and where you started and to still work it because, again, you understand what's going on and you don't lose touch. And people see you in the trenches and they know that when it's tough, that you're going to be on their side. And I think that goes a long way. Seeing someone, if you walked onto a set, my goal is if I was producing it, you'd be like, I've seen that guy hustling, doing the grunt work, so I know that he's going to have my back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my goal. It's like, get the project, but I want to make sure that everyone knows they're going to be taken care of, that I know their job, I know how tough it is. When I'm asking for a 5 a.m. call time, when I'm asking to work long hours, if I'm asking for something, I know what I'm asking.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just a flippant request.
Yep. And I think that's very powerful to let the people that are working, I always say working with me, not working for me, because that's part of keeping the ego in check.
Yep, it's collaborative.
Because we're a team.
He's only saying that because you're here. I'm trying to tell you.
Oh,
10
here you
minutes
go.
before you got here,
Here you go.
it was going down. Now, what do you tell? I'm sorry.
But-
go ahead. What is it that you tell everybody? I'm sorry.
I try and maintain a relationship of I would never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Exactly.
So you know that I'm not asking you to do that because I feel like I'm above you. I'm asking you to do that because I need your help.
Yep.
Right.
And it builds a much stronger relationship. People will definitely give you more with that kind of a relationship rather than like a dictator type. Do this because I said do it.
With the director, it's always it's a benevolent dictatorship.
Right.
I mean, in the end, you still have the one guy calling the shots.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at least it should be for the greater good.
That's
So so definitely a management hat. You call it producer, editing, editor, director, whatever.
Managing.
Yeah, it's really management. You really you're managing a whole crew. You have a management company.
You're dealing with a lot of personality. You're dealing with a lot of strong personalities too. And how do you channel that?
okay. So some of the strong personalities that you've met that you would consider like something that stands out to you. I'm sure everybody has a strong personality, or else they wouldn't be where they're at because you have, like you said, you have to have a thick skin. You'd have to have that personality anyways. But the ones that kind of stand out a little bit too, that's a little bit like, because you did explain how they were amazing, like 50 Cent, like you're like, oh gosh, I could, like they're really good people and things of that nature. But what about the personalities that are just like, oh my gosh?
Yeah.
I would have never
what's
known.
funny is
I'm sure.
there are some. Are you talking about the negative personality?
Well, not necessarily negative, just something that
Like
just kind of
very,
stood
very
out.
strong?
Yeah,
I have
very
one
stood out
person-
to you that you were like,
And you don't have to put out names.
I'm not gonna put it.
what are you doing here? You're messing it up for me.
There's an AD/producer
Okay.
that I felt she hated me. She hated me from the moment I stepped into the hotel and onto
Okay.
this set.
Wow.
And we butted heads, and it was very rocky at first. And come home, I'm like, I really don't like her, but I'd hire her in a heartbeat.
Because she's good.
And it's like, wait, what? You don't like her, but you'd hire her? I'm like, yes, because she was an amazing AD.
Okay.
Just because she had a strong personality, and that was the thing.
Yeah.
It's like we just had to work out that little,
Just
a little hiccup.
friction.
a little friction and hiccup.
So what was it like? Just the one or two things like she
It
would
actually-
say that kind of made you?
It was the base of it was that it was when I was working below the line, way below the line,
Mhm.
but she knew I had done all this producing,
All right.
and she didn't like that fact.
Okay.
She thought I was there trying like to weasel my way, and I'm like, no, I'm just here doing my job. I want to, I've been hired to do a job. I don't
Right.
care about,
Yeah.
all your little politics and stuff.
Right.
So once that was smoothed over, and she realized that I wasn't there with a producer hat on, that I was there with a working hat on,
Uh-huh.
I think it smoothed out.
We had a scenario with one of the films that I directed, where we had a cameo from a fairly well-named, I'd say, D-list actor. He's recognizable, but he doesn't usually do.
It's one of those faces that you're like, I know I've seen him since you start IMDb.
You know what movies you saw him in.
Don't play.
But-
What's his name?
We'll talk after the show. I'm not going to put him on blast just because I don't know what will happen in the future.
Right.
But after that experience, you can ask my crew. I swore I will never work with this guy again.
Uh-huh.
Because he showed up on set with an attitude.
Mhm.
Because he felt like he deserved more than what he was getting paid. And I had nothing to do with the
Hey,
payment
he's the one
or
that said
anything.
yes.
And
Sorry.
my whole thing was, you accepted the money
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Agree to the terms
And
of the contract.
we flew you out here to Seattle,
Mhm.
just put you up in a hotel, paid you your money,
Mhm.
fed you, do what you agreed to do. And at the end of the day, he did, but you could tell that he was kind of
He's
phoning it
worried
in.
about it. He was there for a paycheck.
But yeah. But you can't act like you're worth more, but still take it.
Hey, I do all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm better than this. Yeah, I'll take that $20.
But yeah, it was interesting. We are surprisingly, I thought we were going to run out of questions to ask you.
Oh, do we? Are
But
we running out of time? Is it about that time?
Yeah.
We're just about to the end of our show.
But I didn't get a chance to tell you guys about some of the stuff I produced.
We're going to get to that. That's
This is a whole series, right?
that's why I'm wrapping it
But I
up.
wanted to share it with you. You know,
And guess what?
You're the guy.
You can be on every episode.
I can come back. Talk more.
I wanted to drop names. No, I haven't
Is
missed
there-
anything.
Is there any current or future projects that you want to plug real quick before we wrap up?
No, not really. I mean, the other two features are coming out that I DP'd and produced. That is ironic because I've gotten the really quick features down.
Okay.
So on Shattered and Telltale, which will be on Amazon this summer,
I was
we
just
shot
gonna
each
ask you
of
the
those in
names.
5 days.
Okay.
We need him to produce
I was thinking
both of our features.
What?
So what about
5 days, what the hell?
what about information, like some of the tags you want to put out there where they can reach you on
Well,
YouTube and Instagram and
On Instagram and Facebook and everything, it's Wild Dog Creative.
okay.
So that's my
And
And then your
your website is Wild Dog Films?
Wild Dog Creative.
Creative.
Everything is
Is
Wild
it
Dog
creative?
creative,
Okay.
everything, yeah.
My
Everything's
mistake.
Wild Dog Creative, all separate.
So any way that you want to connect with him, Wild Dog Creative, social media,
Your
website,
tag is currently up, so
anything?
the website's being shown.
Oh, okay,
His name.
cool.
Okay.
So
And then.
And I
I'll
did-
go update my website now.
I did type it right on your tag, so we're good.
Okay, so the tags, and then anything that you think that you're gonna be interested in doing that you have like not in the works
Oh,
that you have it tucked away somewhere.
Oh, I'm always working on ideas.
Okay.
I'm always looking at ideas too. I just love to create. So
That's awesome.
there's actually a form on the website too about being able to send scripts in and to
Nice.
start collaboration. Like I just love to work.
I
You
got
hear
the
that,
inside
everybody?
plug,
That's
Sheldon.
awesome.
Yeah.
I got the inside
Yeah.
plug.
We got it.
Hashtag focus when you write your idea. Or BellaBellz, on there, and then, you get in like that. No, don't hashtag my name. If you put me on there, you're not gonna get in nowhere. So don't even put I'm gonna mess it up for you. Just put his name on there. Yeah, okay, cool.
If you could give one recommendation or suggestion to an aspiring up-and-coming producer or filmmaker, what would that be?
Mouth shut, ears open.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I'm sorry, I've seen so many people come and again, take your ego out of the equation.
Absolutely.
You're there
That's
to
number
create,
one.
you're there to work with other people. You're there to create a beautiful piece of art and hopefully make money off of it.
Mhm.
But you also need all those other people. You might be able to do the job,
Yeah.
but having others right there with you will go a million times further.
I think that was my biggest obstacle to overcome getting into the film industry was relying on other people to help me with things because, excuse me, in the music industry, people were so flaky. So I would tend to be like, okay, well, I'll learn how to do this myself. In the film industry, you can do that, but you're going to get a much better finished product if you can bring in people that enhance your team so that you can focus on the one thing that you're really good at
Exactly. And just put your
and
ego
let
at the
them
door.
do what they're really good at, and it makes a beautiful product at the end.
So what happens in this, like in the instance where there are those who say, oh, if I were you, I could do it I would have did it like this. Or,
Well, then go do it.
Yeah.
because you said years of, so I'm like, so some of that stuff is like that.
I mean, you do have to talk, and actually one of my biggest struggles is not talking enough, which is why I really wanted to come on the show, because I have struggled to meet people in the Seattle areas. It is very cliquish here, but I'm the unknown too.
Yeah.
I came from out there, and I have the stuff that I did do, and I want to show that I'm willing to work. Like and work.
And I've seen him work.
It's like I'm intended on making Seattle my home for a very, very long time. So
Awesome.
Amazing. So
Okay.
I have a event coming up.
Real quick, thank you very much, Michael, for joining us tonight.
yeah, thank you.
And I hope to have you back on the show
I'd
again
love to come back.
very
on.
soon.
Yeah.
And there's so much more we didn't even touch on. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
unbelievably, we've been sitting here for 2 hours, and I mean, we could talk for a week and probably still not cover everything. But you have some events coming up that you want to
No,
talk
because I'm
about?
always going to be like, well, one more thing I have to ask. One
Yeah.
more thing. And then eventually I'm like, well, do you need, because, I'm going to
And
start
then
shadowing.
tie.
Did you need to pick up some coffee? Or, oh, do you know how to get to blah, blah place? Yeah, but I do have an event coming up I'm going to be hosting. It's called March Madness. And it's,
And kids should be in bed by now.
what time is it? Let's see. They might be.
This is the part where the casting couch comes out.
Oh, it is really going that route today. And it's green. Yeah, and so this event is going to be an adult event. It's a women's event. A Lady B presents March Madness, Ladies Night Out strip show. The phone number in order to book tickets, because it's a private event, is 253-232-6251. Ask for, let's see, who do you need to ask for here? Lady B. And just let her know Bella sent you. I'll be hosting the event there. I'll be the one that's with clothes on at this event. So, because everybody identifies themselves as whatever. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I'm the one with the clothes on.
And we will actually put the flyer up on the page,
Right.
so that you can see where you can go see Bella out in the real world, not just on the show.
So what I
Her
liked
tag
about
is
this
up right
event
now.
as well is, besides the fact
Her
that
tag
there's
is
a
up.
bunch of men,
Tag.
what I liked about this situation is, hey, there is a party bus that'll pick you up. There's food in there. And
Wait,
there's
what now?
I'll get to the good part. Yeah.
Is that? Press the button, right?
Cool. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't want to plug him just to.
No, I'm not plugging
if you
nobody.
don't
It's just
know.
no lady. There's no plug. It's just Lady B's providing a party bus for those who are interested. Once you book the ticket, all that information is on there to tell you where to get picked up at. And on the party bus, there's food, of course, and fun, and a bunch of ladies just hanging out and riding safe. You know how to get there. And
If you
I know
ask
the
nice-
event.
Yeah, it's nice. They might have one of these pretty dudes on there too.
That might be extra. So basically, yeah, that's what's going on. March 14th, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, March 14th, I'm doing that.
It better not be a Thursday. I'm just messing with
Oh, it could. This is after hours.
you. After hours. Oh, see, I told you the casting couch was coming out.
I'm just adjusting to. That's what I was told. This whole interview, you gotta be flexible. You gotta be doing dirt work.
Good to be flexible on the casting couch.
Oh my goodness. Cut.
This is where the producer part come in.
This is what they say.
Shut
cut,
it down.
director, cut.
Shut it down.
Okay.
You can find us at the Green Room on YouTube. It's on.
Yeah, you can pretty much search anywhere, the Green Room with Focus and BellaBellz, and you'll find all of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Shit, I've even been posting stuff on Snapchat. So,
Oh, say that then. Snappy.
so thank you for tuning in. We're out of here, and we will see you next week.
Tune in next time to the Green Room.
Stay tuned with the page, and you'll see who's coming next week.
But we're gonna be posting more information too, all the guests.
Absolutely. We're just getting started. Stick with us, and we're out.